Hello, and here I am to talk about the works of James Cameron. Now, he's not directed that many movies across his career, although he's directed some of the biggest and the most profitable and some of the best films you'll ever see. So in a particular order of how I like to view James Cameron films, I'm going to go in this particular order. So we're going to go with my least favourite James Cameron film. Now, I've not seen Piranha or Piranha 2 or whichever one it was he did in the early 80s. We're talking from Terminator onwards and only his big movies. So I'm going to go with my least favourite thing, and it's the Avatar 2. I am not a huge fan of the first one. I don't like this particular franchise. I think it's because it's just so cartoony. I don't care what he throws at me anymore. Like, he keeps making these beautiful worlds, and yet it was wonderful in the first one, but I don't want to see a franchise of this. I just don't. Like, this guy's so talented as a director, and he's committed himself to this cartoon world, and it's like, what are you doing? But like, he's classed as one of these genius directors, and it's like, oh, he's got a plan. I don't believe he has got a plan. I just see money, billions, and a slowly diminishing franchise, because the second one just did not enthrall me at all. The fact that they brought back the clone of the original villain was just, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, I love him as a villain in the first one, and even then it was cheesy. You know, it was just this stereotypical drill sergeant, nasty American soldier who wants to take, and the fact that he gets cloned in this one, come on. Like, please, give me more than this. So I'm putting that one there. I just didn't like it. My next James Cameron movie is the first Avatar. You'll see a pattern emerging. I don't care about this franchise. Make it colourful. Do what you want. But don't try and force it down my neck. And don't tell me it's a good film just because it's really got really good special effects. Because it isn't a good film. The story is dull. It's been done to death. Cowboys and Indians, but in space. And everyone... I appreciate how good looking it is for 2009. It was really good for 2009. You want to bring this in 2024 when we've got, in my opinion, better at special effects. We have to stay in this world because we've designed them a certain way, and it's like, no, not for me. So what have I got next? My next James Cameron film is The Abyss. It's a great film. Like I said, I like these films in their own weird ways, but this is the order. The Abyss. It's good. The only problem with The Abyss is it's dark, or it's moody. You don't feel good when you're watching it, although it's a great film. Far better than Avatar, in my opinion, because it's got real people telling a story, using the power of their dramatic acting. And that's enough for me, and that's the way I want to see films, if I'm honest. I'm so sick of being bombarded with special effects, and I'm not discrediting these special effects, but please, give me more than this. Give me a good story as well as special effects, and then I'm invested. So I'm going to put that one here. The next is True Lies. This is good. It's a good family film. Everyone will get something from this. It's not his best work, but it's pretty good. The chemistry, the jokes, Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance, the special effects are good. So, do I like this film? Yeah, I do. I don't rewatch it enough because it is good. It's entertaining, but I feel like it's swamped over the rest of his films. Like, people don't talk about True Lies like they do my next film, which is Titanic. A lot of people will have this as number one, but for me, like, the older I get, the cheesy parts of this film I have no time for. Will it always hold a special place in my heart? Yeah, it's going to be for everybody. Like, the amount of dates that I went on or watched this film with a girl and made out it was the first time I'd ever seen it. Yeah, I've got a lot of memories of Titanic, but the older I get, the more grown up I become, and the love story and all that is kind of secondary. I'm more interested in the real people that suffered during the fate of this than two fictional people that are classed as heroes. You know, you get a lot of suffering in this film, and I feel like we do get a good glimpse of that, but it's overshadowed by the Rose and Jack storyline. And I just think as a filmmaker, when you're dealing with something as tragic as what happened with the Titanic, you've got to cater for the real people that suffered. If you're going to try and make $1 billion out of this, then please have some respect for the storyline. I hear a lot of it's not true as well, where he's got the story wrong, or twisted it for his own story. And for that, again, I don't respect James Cameron for doing that. Like, you're going to the effort of replicating this ship and making out like you're the only historian that can do this, and then you go and start putting your own fantasy parts of the story in. Silly. So that goes there. Still a great film. Next for me is Aliens. Like, this is a great sequel to the first one. If you've seen the first Alien, like, it's a horror film, and then going into the sequel, it's like this, absolutely, let's ramp everything up. Like, one alien? Nah, we're going to give you hundreds of aliens, but we're not going to give you many rounds to destroy them. We're going to make this tough, and this film is a great, like, upgrade, as in we can take these alien films and do more with them if we really try. And that's what James Cameron does. He does, like, a perfect sequel for it. And the casting choices are good. We've got the chemistry from Bill Paxton and Sigourney Weaver, and then not to mention Newt as well, because she's a vital part of this cast. She keeps the story going. So Aliens for me is next. Then, you know, if you've seen my Arnold Schwarzenegger top from worst to best, then you'll know what this already is, but it's Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2. I mentioned this before, but after rewatching it and rewatching it and rewatching it, Terminator 1 for me, which is my next film, is my number one James Cameron film, because he did it on such a low budget. So much heart and soul went into this. He didn't just go, oh, go and do this, go and do that. He physically was out there having to do it and figure out ways of coming up with these special effects. And for that, I admire what he did. Like, he created something from very little money into something that even the more money they throw at the Terminator franchise, the worse it becomes. Like, he started something amazing, continued it with part 2, walked away from the franchise, and everything else that's come later has just been mediocrity. Besides Terminator Salvation, but people would class that as mediocrity compared to the first two. So yeah, that is my James Cameron order. I do think he's a great director, but there's just something that stops him from being the best director. You might not agree with me. You'll probably go, what? Putting Avatar at the bottom? I've got my choices, and that's mine. So I'd love to hear yours. So if you want to put yours in the comments, that'd be great. Thanks for watching.